An airline horror story is sparking an international investigation. Needles found inside sandwiches on Delta flights. CNN's David Mattingly is working the story for us. So, David, what's the latest?
Wolf, there's a lot riding on getting to the bottom of this right now. You can bet that the airlines and their food service contractors want to know what happened, not to mention the passengers themselves. It is the picture that launches 1,000 questions. Why and how could someone slip tiny needles undetected into sandwiches served aboard Delta flights from the Netherlands? Passenger James Tonjes believes he was the first to find one about 7 hours into his flight to Minneapolis.
When I pulled it out of my mouth, I looked at it. I mean, it was like a straight needle. And instead of being like a sewing needle, there was no eye on the one end. It was just pointed on both ends. And it was about 1 inch long. It was about like having a shot in your arm. So it was a pretty good poke.
The needle stuck Tonjes in the roof of his mouth. Less than 2 minutes later, a second passenger found another one. He spoke to Minneapolis station KSTP.
I bit down on it so that I wasn't biting down on the sharp side, but on the flat side, it could have been a bad injury orally. But had I taken a big swallow and swallowed that down, I'd have a needle inside. That would be very concerning to me.
Other flights were alerted. Similar needles were found in 6 sandwiches on 4 Delta flights, all from Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. The FBI has launched a criminal investigation, not commenting on whether or not this could be an act of terrorism. Not likely, says CNN analyst Tom Fuentes.
It's more along the lines of a serious prank. The reason I say that is if al-Qaeda or a serious terrorist group like them had access to the food supply that's going on airplanes through the catering service, why mess around with needles?
But it does raise questions about possible vulnerabilities when so much has already been invested in screening passengers and cargo. A spokeswoman for Gate Gourmet, which prepared the sandwiches for Delta, tells CNN this is a terribly upsetting situation. First and foremost is the safety of the traveling public. A spokeswoman from Delta also tells CNN Delta has taken immediate action with our in-flight caterer at Amsterdam to ensure the safety and quality of the food we provide on board our aircraft. Every country has their own rules to follow when it comes to security. We spoke to the TSA. A spokesman for the TSA tells us that their role in these international situations is to look at the procedures, the security procedures that are in place for the airlines and their contractors, and to evaluate them. They won't give us any details about the evaluations they had for what was going on here. Wolf?
David Mattingly with the latest on this story. Pretty frightening stuff. We'll stay on top of it. Thank you. A military shakeup, a mystery woman, even Disney characters, some very unusual developments in one of the world's most secretive countries, North Korea. We have new information.